Now, Mayor Lori Lightfoot is pleading with the community to avoid any type of violent reaction to the release of the video. She's pleading for calm. And she also said during a press conference, we must proceed with deep empathy and calm, and importantly, peace. No family should ever have a video broadcast widely of their child's last moments, much less be placed in the terrible situation of losing their child in the first place. So this police shooting happened at 2:30 in the morning on March 29th. And
okay, so for sure, she's reporting the facts. March 29th, no doubt, 2:30 in the morning, totally. Gotcha. Thanks, Anna. Just the facts. What else you got?
The allegation here is that Adam Toledo, the 13-year-old, was with another male who...
That's not an allegation. He was with another male. Why did we just go from definitive statements to you saying allegedly he was with another male? We have the video, Anna. You've seen the video. Why are you saying allegedly he's with another male? How are we now entering the arena of doubt? He definitely was with another male.
Who allegedly had fired his weapon, not...
It's again not alleged. It's been confirmed. The city, the cops, the 911 operators, tons of witnesses. I mean, what is your role, Anna? What are you doing? We know gunshots were fired. There's video of that. It's the same video we're talking about. And yet that is also under a cloud of doubt. Notice that she is doing this. She plants these seeds because she hates cops and she hates white people, and she's trying to paint the story of maybe this is not true, but you know. So typically when it's a fact that goes against her story, she'll say allegedly. That's the rule. It has nothing to do with whether or not it happened or it didn't happen. She changes it up all the time. Pay attention to it.
Anything in particular that we know about right now? We still don't have enough details about the story, so I want to kind of warn you guys about that.
Yeah, Anna hasn't glanced at a headline on CNN recently. I like how she talks about we. What we, Anna? You in the newsroom? Anna, I can do what you do in 2 seconds. I can just Google the news and then review the news. The only difference is when you do it, it gets filtered through your hook nose and your bias and your bullshit.
But authorities were called. At that point, the cops opened fire and...
Are we warping through time, supersonic? What do you mean at that point the cops opened fire? There was one cop and he opened fire when a guy pulled a gun on him. That is the entire story, Anna. What do you mean, then something happened, then they opened fire on him? That's your telling of this story? This woman teaches journalism at a college. I was talking about lies of omission. What was that? Say it again, Anna.
But authorities were called. At that point, the cops opened fire and...
Authorities were called. At that point, the cops opened fire. This is a story that we have the raw footage of. And that was her summary of it. Authorities were called and then they opened fire. So, I think you got all you need to know. What else is there?
Killed Adam Toledo, again, a 13-year-old.
Who cares that he's 13? Who cares? He's a 13-year-old with a gun. I mean, they keep referencing back to 13, Tamir Rice 12. Tamir Rice is actually not as bad as this guy because that was a fake gun. This is a real gun. All right, this is a real gangbanger. But they're referencing that age to make you feel a certain way because in your mind, you remember yourself at 13, you know what a typical 13 does. Alex Toledo is not a typical 13-year-old. Typical 13-year-olds are not out shooting shit at 2:30 in the morning running from cops, holding guns. That's just not what they do. When I was 13, I was holding my dick, but not a gun. So it's, again, emotional manipulation, but it also highlights the fact, if you want to get real about it, that Alex Toledo was not operating like a typical 13-year-old. Another sign of the times of just how fucked up certain communities in our nation are.
Again, a 13-year-old because they believed that he was armed.
They believe that he was armed? Anna, do you believe he was armed? It's incredible. Allegedly he was armed. They believed he was armed. She's not going to tell you definitively he was armed. He was armed. Why does she do that? Because she doesn't want you siding with the cops. Because how are you supposed to be outraged if there's nothing to be outraged about? This shooting was as clean as a whistle. I feel like I've just taken a shower after watching that snuff video. It was beautiful. Clean. Fuck this 13-year-old. Stop pulling guns on cops. You dick.
Now, Adam Toledo, 13, was shot by the police last month in Little Village, specifically a predominantly Latino neighborhood.
A Latin ethno state. Oh, okay, cool. Cool for them to do it. Ooh, it says on the city's west side. Kind of like West Side Story. That featured Latin gangs too.
on the city's west side.
What's
According to
hard?
law enforcement
What's
authorities,
hard?
Adam was running down the alley with a gun in his hand and ignored an officer's command to stop and drop the gun. So
that's according to authorities. So we can't really trust them because remember, fuck the cops. All cops are bastards. We do have the video that confirms that sentence. However, I'm gonna gaslight you and pretend like I didn't see that video and that it's not a known fact that everything in that sentence is dead true.
point number one that I want to bring up right off the bat.
Here we go, guys. Get ready for that big hook-nosed brain action. What's your first point, Anna?
He's running away, okay?
So what? He's running away.
Whether they believed he was armed or not, he's running away.
Again, she casts doubt as to whether or not he was armed. He was armed, Anna. He was fucking armed.
Which means by the very nature of the incident, he is not posing an imminent risk or threat to the authorities. He's running away.
Okay, Anna, let me just try to get inside. Let me crawl inside your big ass nose and take a peek at your brain and try to understand what you're talking about. If you're running away, you're not a threat to the cops. Okay, are you aware that people with guns can pull out their gun and shoot back at the cops? Happens all the time. Happens all the fucking time. So no, your running away is not a shield against you being a threat. You're still definitely a threat. But here's a greater point, Anna. Have you thought about this one? He stopped running away. So whatever you think you're saying here, it doesn't apply because he stopped and he pulled a gun and then he twisted his body around, hiding his dominant arm. So he definitely was a threat. And your first point was horseshit. So please move on to a second point.
That's an important part of the story.
No. The least important thing ever uttered by a Homo sapien.
The other part of the story that's important to keep in mind is,
And by the way, this is a woman who thinks it's important that Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines. And she thinks it's important that Derek Chauvin put a knee on the neck in broad daylight. The crossing state lines and in broad daylight, in her brain, which is the size of a pellet of rabbit shit, she thinks those points are important. And she also thinks if you're running away, you're not threatening. Oh, really, Anna? Even if you have a gun? You're not complying with police orders? You're not showing your hands? If you pull a gun while running away? No, because you're still running away. Oh, okay.
Is that, first of all, Mayor Lori Lightfoot says, I see no evidence whatsoever that Adam shot at the police. So we have not seen any evidence of that.
Who cares? Hey guys, new rule, all right? We're setting up new rules. If you don't shoot at the police, then you're not a threat and you're not allowed to be shot by the police. We'll call it the Kenneth Walker rule. Kenneth Walker, Breonna Taylor's drug addict, no, not drug addict, sorry, that's George Floyd. Probably was a drug addict too. Drug dealing boyfriend, he shot at cops, which justified the cops shooting back at him. No, but Adam Toledo didn't shoot at cops. Oh, okay, well then he's an innocent angel. There's no threat. You have to have squeezed the trigger for there to have been a threat. Okay, beautiful. Could you be more irrelevant if you tried?
In fact, if you look at this screenshot from the video.
Which screenshot, Anna? This one? Are you going to show this one? Oh, we're now selecting screenshots from the video. This is screenshot justice. Yeah, put your blinders on. There's a whole video of context, but I want you to look at this millisecond. What about the milliseconds right before of him holding a gun? Forget that.
You see him with his hands up right before the police opened fire.
And what happened right before that? What happened right before that is that he was hiding the fact that he had a gun. The cop saw he had the gun, told him to put it down. He chucked it like an idiot. There's no way the cop could have known that, had a split-second decision to make that call, and he was totally justified in doing it. I mean, 1,000%.
Now, I reviewed the video, unfortunately, and it does appear at one point, right before he turns around and raises his arms.
Uh-oh, at one point? There's no way she's gonna say this definitively. I guarantee you. She's not gonna say he had a gun. I saw the video. Unfortunately, I had to review it. I had to do some work. So you could see how labored she is in telling you this. Watch what she says.
That he dropped something.
He dropped something and he dropped a gun. It's plain as day it's a gun. It's in the police video. You have access to this video. You're gonna show me the freeze frame of him holding his hands up and not the freeze frame of him holding a gun? He dropped something. Ho ho ho.
And that could have been the weapon.
What weapon, Anna? I thought it was an alleged weapon. Now you confirm there is a weapon? And it could have been the weapon? Anna, who are you kidding with this shit? Who is out there? Is there some communist faggot weeb out there that buys into this and is like, oh, well, I still hate cops and white people, but maybe this little Latino gangster, maybe it wasn't his wallet or his cell phone? Maybe? It was the weapon? You think, Anna? You think? How do you sleep at night? How do you look at yourself in the mirror?
I don't know for sure, and I want to be clear about that.
What do you know for sure? It's 2:30 in the morning. We know that for sure. Totally. March 29th. Oh, definitely. Yeah, the date, nailed it. His hands were up. Oh, for sure his hands were up. Yep. Cop shot him. Oh, yep, the cop shot him. Did he drop a gun? No, he dropped something. We don't really know. I can't know. Is it possible to ever know?
But even so, you can see clearly in this screenshot that he's turned around with his hands up, and the authorities, the cops, shot and killed him anyway.
Yeah, he had been turned around with his hands up for a good 5 minutes, just sitting there, hands up, and then the cop shot him. Isn't that what happened? So she just went back to her screenshot justice, saying, but don't worry about the thing that he dropped that might have been a weapon, could have been, I don't know what it was. I don't know. But what we do know is that his hands were up for a split second. Are these people serious? How could you seriously be this dumb? Oh, it's not just dumb, it's dishonest. It's dishonest and manipulative. Is it for money? Do you want money? Like, if I paid you enough money, would you tell me, like, yeah, I know it was a justified killing and I know he had a gun. I present this case because my audience likes to hear this. Like, it's so easy too. Like, I respect cops, but I'm not on team cops. In general, I respect them and understand what they do is a hard job. But if a cop fucks up, I tell you straight up, he fucked up. Or she fucked up in the recent case with Dante Ray. I didn't say, well, maybe he deserved to be shot. No, it wouldn't have been a clean shoot. He didn't have a weapon. I mean, they suspected he might have had a weapon, but they didn't have probable cause to shoot him. They did to tase him, and if she mistakes her taser for a gun, then yeah, it's on her. So I tell you straight out, Anna and the Young Turks don't have that ability. So they don't cover stories that paint cops in a positive light, and they could do that all day and night. I mean, there are millions of encounters, and the cops are heroic and awesome in almost all of them, and yet they don't cover those because it doesn't serve them. Imagine if they said, here's 100 times cops were amazing, and here's the one time that there's an iffy call, and maybe they weren't. Imagine how the audience, the public, would receive that message. They'd understand the math of it all. But they don't do that because their agenda is crystal clear, and that goes to their race baiting. I mean, if they said, oh, here's a time cops shot a white guy. Here's another time cops shot a white guy. Here's another time cops shot a white guy. Oh, and here's a time a cop shot a black guy. Then they couldn't bang the drum of, the cops are attacking blacks. Whites hate blacks. Remember slavery. Fight the power. Let's have a riot. Let's have a race war. That's what they do. This is who they are.
Yeah. So, two standard huge problems here in America.
Blacks and Latinos? Oh no, I kid. They're amazing. They're kind of like the model minorities, only not at all.
One is because of our lax gun laws, everybody has guns.
Wait, he went to gun control? He went to gun control. Okay, so you have a little gangster, Latin, in Chicago, and instead of blaming the Latin for acquiring the gun and being a gangster and resisting arrest, he's gonna blame gun laws. I mean, that's neither here nor there. You're 200 years too late when it comes to gun laws in America. You gotta hold this guy accountable. There's a time and a place to talk about gun control. This ain't it.
One is because of our lax gun laws, everybody has guns.
Not everyone has guns. I don't have a gun. I definitely didn't have a gun when I was 13. So no. Do you see that? Everyone has guns. Everyone's a gangbanger. Everyone resists. No. Hold him accountable.
There's nonstop shootings in Chicago. And I don't want to hear from right-wingers who are like, oh no, Chicago's a magical bubble where they can't get guns from other parts of Illinois or Indiana or any nearby state with incredible ease.
Now he's on a tangent. He's on a tangent talking to a right-winger. I tell you about agenda, right? What is my regressive agenda? It's fuck the cops, fuck right-wingers, fuck Republicans, fuck white people. I mean, these are the points that they try to get to every goddamn time. So it doesn't matter the story. The story has nothing to do with right-wingers. Nothing. Cenk just made it about right-wingers. And why? Because he likes to. This is where he's comfortable. These are the points he wants to talk about.
So people are shooting each other. They're shooting at cops. Cops are shooting at them.
Wait, what? People are shooting at cops. That's off script. Anna didn't mention anything like that. Remember the screenshot? Hands up? Oh, so you do acknowledge that cops have to deal with a bunch of thugs in Chicago and elsewhere who are trying to shoot at them. Uh-oh, we're coming dangerously close to humanizing cops. Be careful.
No one ever does anything about it. Now, if you go turn on Fox News, you'll see them complaining about black people all the time.
Black people got brought in. I wonder why. Well, what's on the regressive agenda? Save the blacks. So he hit another talking point. If you go to regressiveagenda.com, you will see that Save the Blacks is right there. And what do black people have to do with the story? Nothing at all. Nothing at all. So isn't it a little bit alarming that blacks get brought up? Doesn't it tell you what's on their brain and that their brains are not functioning properly?
Do they ever do a constructive solution for how to have less violence in Chicago or anywhere else? No, they just got black culture. Black dads are not there. Black people are at fault. So
yeah, criminals are at fault, and black people are criminal. Many of them, a huge amount, a scary amount. Who doesn't agree with that? Who doesn't know that? And them not having fathers, yeah, it's a huge problem. And their culture, huge problem. I love how Cenk just dismisses that. Cenk, they still go out and get the guns illegally, mind you. These are not legal gun owners, and they're doing this shit.
No, your racism is not a solution, okay?
What? Racism? Wait, how is it racist? What is racist? What? Acknowledging that the people that do the most shootings in our country are people of color? They're the ones with the illegal guns? They're the gangbangers? That's racist to acknowledge that? Didn't you just acknowledge that? You just said that people in Chicago are shooting up the joint. What do you think that is? You're not talking about white kids in the suburbs. You're talking about blacks and browns in Chicago. So how is that not your racism? I mean, the word racism is just a punchline at this point. It's a fucking punchline.
And then when cops shoot black people, what does Fox News and the right wing always say? Oh no, cops are always innocent. Do you know?
What? Always, yeah, Cenk. I mean, great. Nice generalities. But it's kind of apropos because the facts don't matter. Emotions matter. Psychology matters. So Cenk is saying, cops are always right. No one says that. No one's ever said that. The cops have been wrong before. There are examples of it. There's several examples, but there are many, many more examples where they're totally in the right. So Cenk is now just straw manning. And watch, he's like having a conversation with a theoretical, non-existent conservative. And even for this fictional conservative, he's bullshitting, and he's putting words into the mouth of this fictional creation of his.
Do you know that more Republicans now believe Chauvin is innocent?
He is innocent of murder,
as opposed to guilty. They watched him murder a man with their own eyes.
No, he didn't. Not at all. I saw a man overdose with my own eyes. It's the whole point.
And they're like, I don't see a problem.
No, I see a problem with him putting a knee on the neck. I don't think he should have. I think he should have propped him up and tried to help him breathe and just sit there. I don't think any force on his head was necessary at all. But that's not murder when a guy's ODing, and it's not the cause of his death.
They're Republicans. They're like, oh, a white cop killed a black cop.
So yeah, right. It's all about racism. So no, Cenk, you're a fucking idiot, man. I'm not a Republican. I'm telling you that case is that case, and I don't care about the races. We don't care about race. They've done studies on this where they show explicitly that Republicans and conservatives don't change their stance on anything based on race. It's the left-wingers that do. Self-hating whites and just racist people of color. They view the situation entirely different depending on the races involved. So it's kind of scientifically proven that your side is the one that is the racist side. It's not hard to see, by the way.
A black guy who in that case was unarmed, and when I saw him do it, I'm here for it. That's who Republican voters are. So they got no solutions.
The fuck? Do you love how we started talking about guns? Okay, we got a Latin gangbanger who's a total failure. He's resisting arrest. He's pulling guns on cops. Cenk goes into gun control is the issue. And I mean, you realize that the gun he had was illegal, right, Cenk? He was not jumping through the hoops to own a legal gun. 13-year-olds cannot have a gun. Thankfully. He then went from that to bitching at conservatives, strawmanning them, calling them a racist if they point out the very crime stats that Cenk had just pointed out, talking about that there's guns everywhere in Chicago. And then he said, because you think Derek Chauvin is innocent, then that means you're not going to help the problem with guns in America. There are no guns involved in the Derek Chauvin case. None whatsoever. So in his brain, he's leapfrogging around because he's like, conservatives, racist, black, white, Derek Chauvin, neon neck. Anyway, let me tie that back into guns. Right. It's stupid, beyond stupid.
And then, progressives in Congress, I mean, they were every once in a while they'll say something. Do they ever do anything?
Oh, this guy's lefter than left. Holy shit, Cenk. Yeah, those progressives by name only, they're not even about action. You know who is? You are, Cenk. You take bold action. You know what you should do? You should raise $1 million and just go to Congress. Like, just waddle your fat ass up those steps and get in there. I'm sure you'd do more than just bluster and bloviate. You'd make America great again, Cenk, I think. Oh, you did try to do that? Oh, you failed miserably? Oh, a UCLA graduate beat your ass? You didn't even make it through the primary? Oh, you thought you were the front runner? That's cute. You lost bad, Cenk. Humiliating fashion, and you're never running for office again, by your own admission.
In order to do something, you would have to hold your own accountable.
Oh yeah, this guy's all about holding people accountable. Kind of like the 13-year-old gangster who pulled a gun on cops and got shot because of it. We're holding him accountable, right? Oh, we're not?
They got news for you. Trump's not president anymore.
Oh, Donald Trump got a mention.
Joe Biden is. What did Joe Biden propose?
Uh-oh, he's not left enough either, is he, Cenk? Tell us what Joe Biden is not good enough. Tell me.
Ghost guns. We'll get rid of ghost guns. Yeah, it's a ghost problem. Okay, that's not the issue.
Okay, yeah, ghost guns are nothing. Okay. Doesn't seem too legit, but I thought you were about action. So he's taking action, but it's not the action you want. You're telling me the president can't snap his fingers and remove all the guns from the world? What?
So now, in terms of police shootings.
Hold on. Important clarification on that. We will not get rid of ghost guns. We'll just try to regulate them the same way we regulate all the other guns. Which is poorly, basically. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So we're going to shit on people who are trying to do something to stop gun violence. Yeah, fuck you. Not enough. We're better than you. Much better.
All right, great.
Go ahead.
So in terms of police shootings, Rashida Tlaib, bless her heart, says let's get, I forget her exact quote about basically getting rid of the police. And then everybody goes, oh my God, no.
Getting rid of the police. And everyone goes, oh my God. Yeah. Cenk, do you care about your family? Do you care about yourself? Do you care about your property? Do you care about your car? If any of those things are endangered, you need the fucking police. This is insane.
No, police. Then it forces everybody to go, not me, but makes everybody in media, makes Biden, et cetera, all of them go out of their way to kiss cops' asses. And
kiss the ass of the cops? The cops are the only reason we have a civilization. That's the only reason. If you don't have cops, you don't have a nation. You have pure anarchy. You have Somalia.
No, we will never get rid of the police. We will fund them even more, right? Look, can we focus? Can we pass anything?
No, not if it's coming from you. Look at your ideas. Your idea right there was, we don't need police. Do you even hear yourself?
Can we pass anything in this Congress? So we got black people being shot nonstop. And by the way,
yeah, nonstop, guys. Hey, this is responsible journalism. Hey, everyone listening, the millions of people listening, black people are being shot nonstop. Yeah. Are they doing the nonstop shooting? I feel like they're the ones doing the shooting. But yeah. Also, fun fact, black cops shoot black people more quickly than white cops do. Interesting. And also, the story you're covering has nothing to do with black people. Another fun point. Also, cops shoot whites twice as much. Twice as many whites die by the hands of cops than blacks. But no. Cut to Cenk saying,
so we got black people being shot nonstop. And by the way, poor white people too.
Oh, what? Poor white people? Wait, so now the classism? How do you know they're poor? You have no knowledge that they're poor. You just threw that in there to be like, hey, poor whites, join the cause, fuck capitalism. And it's not just poor white people too. It's twice as many whites, thus eradicating your narrative.
And you think they're not, because we train the cops, kill.
Oh my God. Okay, so now he does his tired, it's the same fucking thing every time. So, right, so these cops who are infinitely braver than you, who are doing a job that's necessary, as opposed to you, who is just trying to outrage people and get people fired up to go kill people, like you did with Corey Muhammad or Gavin Long, or the guy out in Denver who was a TYT fan who shot and killed a Republican. Because why? Well, Gavin Long killed cops, fuck cops, that's what you're doing right now. You're stirring up hatred to cops, unjustifiably. The guy in Denver shot a Republican because fuck Trump and fuck Republicans, another one of your talking points, which you hit on today again. And then Corey Muhammad, fuck white people. He killed as many white men as he could. That's what he said. He was a fan of TYT. This is what this leads to. I mean, you talk about responsibility in journalism. This is an SNL sketch of how bad that could be. So you got cops shooting black people nonstop. I mean, this is outrageous.